Hello everyone and welcome to another video of Immigrate with French. In this video we'll cover the first part of the Expression Orale in the TEF Canada exam. So I'm going to speak about Tâche 1, Task 1 in the oral exam. What is there, what to expect on the exam day? These will be the topics that we will talk about today. I have decided to do Task 1 today and another day to do Task 2 so as not to make the video so long. First of all, when you enter in the examination hall, it's usually the examiner might ask you a little bit about yourself and definitely will see your identification, whether like ID or some passport. So it is important to be ready with like few sentences about yourself and with your passport, even though you're not going to be graded at these seconds, but it's good to give a good impression right off the bat. I'm going to show you how this can be after I explain the structures. I'll try to show you a short simulation of what to expect on the exam day. On the exam day, you're going to enter to the exam hall, and then once the exam starts, you're going to find printed paper with like task 1 on one side and task 2 will be on the other side of the paper. In task 1, you're going to find some ad about something for sale or for rent or some event or some service, whatever it is, and your goal is to ask 10 or more questions in 5 minutes. This is a formal task, so you're going to address the examiner using vous. Consider it like a phone call with the examiner, as if you are having a phone call with the service provider. It is going to be formal and you're going to ask to know more information. So usually the ad will have some information, but it will not cover much. So you need to ask to know more details about whatever is in the ad. It's important to ask a variety of questions and to keep the conversation as natural as possible. Think about it as if you're having a conversation in real life, how you would usually approach that. There is no particular order that you need to follow. However, it should just be logically arranged or logically organized. So you try not to jump from one topic to another and then come back to the first topic and jump again to the second topic. No, try to keep it just organized and to make it make sense the way you do in the normal life. Try not to use broken French, like ask proper question, revise the question making rules en français if you have forgotten them, and to ask about every part of the ad. So don't, for example, keep asking about a certain point all of your questions and ignore other parts of the ad. So if the ad has several aspects, it's important to ask about all of them. So if we consider together this ad we have here, in the exam there would usually be a photo to help you understand what we are talking about. And if you see this topic, let's see it together. Cours de langue pour tous les niveaux. Vous souhaitez améliorer votre français ou commencer l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue, que vous prépariez un examen, partiez vivre à l'étranger ou vouliez simplement parler plus facilement, nous pouvons vous aider à atteindre vos objectifs. Pour plus d'informations, contactez-nous au 514 555 2310 ou visitez notre site web lingaplus.ca. So now let's start. I'm going to try to make a simulation. This is the first time I'm recording this, so I'm not sure how it will come out, but I hope it comes out well. Please forgive me if it's not perfect, but I'll do my best. So let's see that. First of all, in this ad, we can see that it's an ad for some courses of language, including French and other languages. If you want more information, you can contact us. So let's try and see a short sample about this topic. Bonjour, madame.
Bonjour, comment allez-vous?
Je vais bien, merci. Et vous?
Je vais bien, merci. Comment vous appelez-vous?
Je m'appelle Annette.
Pouvez-vous me présenter votre passeport, s'il vous plaît?
Oui, bien sûr. Voici mon passeport.
Très bien. Quelle est votre profession?
Je suis enseignante.
Et depuis combien de temps vivez-vous au Canada?
Je vis au Canada depuis 2023.
Nous allons commencer par la tâche 1 de l'expression orale. Vous allez lire une annonce et vous allez poser des questions afin d'obtenir les informations dont vous avez besoin. Est-ce que vous avez bien compris les consignes?
Oui, je comprends.
D'accord. Très bien. Voici la publicité. Vous avez 1 minute pour lire la publicité et commencer à poser des questions.
Allô, bonjour madame. J'ai lu votre publicité et j'aimerais avoir plus d'informations, s'il vous plaît.
Bien sûr. Je vous écoute.
D'accord. Où se trouve votre centre?
Notre centre est situé dans le 8e arrondissement de Paris, au cœur du quartier des affaires et des transports.
D'accord. Et quelle est l'adresse exacte?
L'adresse exacte de notre établissement est le 45, avenue des Lumières, 75 008 Paris.
Le centre est-il facilement accessible en transport en commun?
Oui, notre centre est très facilement accessible, notamment grâce à la station de métro Saint-Lazare qui se trouve à seulement 2 minutes à pied.
Ah, c'est très pratique pour moi. Et quels sont vos horaires d'ouverture?
Nos horaires d'ouverture sont du lundi au vendredi, de 8h à 20h30, et le samedi de 9 h à 13 h.
D'accord, je vois. Comment se déroule un cours typique?
Un cours typique dure 90 minutes et est principalement concentré sur la pratique orale et les interactions en groupe, après une courte introduction aux nouvelles notions.
D'accord, je vois ce que vous voulez dire. Donc, quelle langue enseignez-vous?
Nous enseignons l'anglais, l'espagnol, l'allemand, le chinois mandarin et l'arabe.
Je comprends. J'aimerais savoir quel est le nombre maximum d'étudiants par séance.
Le nombre maximum d'étudiants par séance est de 10, afin d'assurer un enseignement personnalisé et efficace.
Les cours ont-ils donné en ligne ou en personne?
Nous offrons des cours en personne, en ligne, ainsi que des formules hybrides pour une flexibilité maximale.
Ah oui, c'est très pratique aussi. Y a-t-il des cours intensifs?
Oui, nous proposons des cours intensifs, généralement pendant l'été.
Les professeurs sont-ils natifs?
Absolument, tous nos professeurs sont des locuteurs natifs de la langue qu'ils enseignent.
Et quelles sont les qualifications des professeurs?
Nos professeurs sont titulaires d'un master universitaire dans la langue enseignée ainsi que d'une certification d'enseignement des langues reconnues.
D'accord. Combien de semaines dure le cours de français?
Le cours de français dure 10 semaines.
D'accord. Et quelle est la durée d'une séance?
La durée d'une séance est d'1 heure.
D'accord. Et combien coûte ce cours?
Ce cours coûte 580 €.
C'est un peu cher. Y a-t-il une réduction?
Oui, en ce moment, il y a une réduction de 10%.
Super. Y a-t-il des frais d'inscription?
Oui, des frais d'inscription uniques de 45 € sont demandés la première année.
D'accord. Si je rate quelques cours, puis-je les rattraper?
Oui, vous avez la possibilité de rattraper un cours manqué soit en accédant à l'enregistrement en ligne, soit en participant à une séance de rattrapage en groupe le samedi matin.
Ah, d'accord. Merci pour votre temps. Je vais y réfléchir. Bonne journée et au revoir. So, reflecting a bit on how it went, I think it went really well. As you have seen, the examiner might start by asking you some questions, just a small talk, to ask you where you come from, what do you do, are you studying, where are you working. They might also ask you, is this the first time to do the TEF Canada exam, or if you have done it before. And I totally advise you to be honest in your answer. So, there's no issue. If it's your first time, you can say that c'est la première fois pour moi. If it's the second or third, you can say non, c'est la deuxième fois pour moi, non, c'est la troisième fois pour moi. If you have done the exams several times and you are not really comfortable with mentioning the number, I would just mention that no, I have done the exam before. But I would still make sure that I say the truth and I say an honest answer. Going to the questions asked in this section, I think that a good number of questions were asked. I think also that there is a variety in the kind of questions asked. So we see that we have different questions with question words like où se trouve, quelle est l'adresse, comment se déroule, combien coûte. So there is a variety of questions. There is also oui ou non question, y a-t-il des cours intensifs, les professeurs sont-ils natifs. There is also good inversion. Par exemple, le centre est-il facilement accessible? Les professeurs sont-ils natifs? So these are good inversion questions. There is one question with conditionnel. J'aimerais savoir quel est le nombre. This is a good also question because usually it's a better way to ask questions. Say, if I would like to improve it a bit more, I would ask more conditional questions. So I would maybe, especially the first two short questions, I would really change them to conditionnel. I can say that pourriez-vous me préciser où se trouve votre centre? Ou pourriez-vous me dire quelle est l'adresse exacte? You can also use a bit of connecteur logique. It doesn't have to be before each single question, but it would be good to start and end with it, especially, and maybe use one or two in the middle. So you can say like, tout d'abord, pourriez-vous me préciser où se trouve votre centre? A question in the middle. Ensuite, j'aimerais aussi savoir s'il y a des cours intensifs. Et enfin, par exemple, y a-t-il des frais d'inscription? So, j'ai une dernière question. Y a-t-il des frais d'inscription? So this would make conversation sound more organized. If we look at the conversation, it's a good, solid conversation. It's very well organized. We talk about different points regarding the. We have There is no particular order by which you want to start. So here I started by asking about the location, and then I moved to ask about opening hours, and then I moved to ask about like the exact groups or the exact classes, how many number of students, are classes online or in person, okay, do you have intensive classes? Then I moved to ask about professors and their qualifications. Then I asked about like I zoomed in on a particular course, which is like a French course. It is a good idea to zoom in on one option if you're at like offer several services or several like choices, then it's a good idea to zoom on one of them and start asking more details about it, rather than to say from the beginning combien cela coûte, because maybe the class of French class is different from Spanish class, from different from English class. So it's good to specify exactly what are you asking about. It's totally up to you what you want to start with. It's not wrong if you want to from the beginning say what you're interested in, and you start asking more questions about it before you move to the number of students or before you ask about the qualification of professors. It's totally up to you exactly how you want to arrange your conversation. However, I would just keep it in a logical order, and by logical order I mean that once you start asking about one section, I would continue asking about it before I move to another section. That is, if I start asking about the location, I will finish my questions about location before I start to ask about the price, for example. So I would ask also trouve, quelle est l'adresse exacte, les transports en commun à proximité, before I ask about something else. What you don't want to do is to ask, for example, about one question, où se trouve votre centre, and then jump and ask about les professeurs sont-ils natifs, and then jump again and ask quelle est l'adresse exacte, and then jump again and say quelles sont les qualifications de professeur. This would make the conversation completely unorganized. But you are free to arrange it the way you want, but just to maintain the logical organization or logical order, in the sense that once you ask about a certain category, you follow through with more questions about it before you move on to the next category. So as you have seen, I tried to simulate one task one example in this video. This is how it would usually go in the exam. I will try to make more videos with what kind of questions you can ask and how it would usually go. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any topics that you'd like me to discuss, if you have had your exam recently, let me know which topics you had and how you did. And thank you so much for watching. Bonne journée. Au revoir.